Hi everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. And in today's video, we're actually doing a review for an old school champion. This is Zargala. She is a force affinity attack champion who's an epic of the orc faction. When I first started playing the game like a year and a half ago, she was one of the best epics in the game. But the question now, like in 2022, is does Zargala still hold up, right? You get a lot more champions these days than you used to. There have been tons of epics, really powerful ones, like Ugo, for example, guide on the channel for her as well, have come out. Do they replace Zargala? Does Zargala still hold up? Does she do anything interesting? That's what we're going to explore today. Also, apologies if my voice is a bit off. I've got like a sore throat, so I'm like isolating and all this sort of stuff. It sucks. Antigen tests were negative, but waiting for like PCR and all that sort of stuff. Maybe it's COVID, maybe it's a throat infection. Pain in the ass either way. But yeah, we're firing on ahead anyway because I was kind of bored and I wanted to record a video nonetheless. Okay, let's dive in. Let's look at Zargala's kit. Her A1, split apart. Attacks one enemy, 50% chance of putting a 25% weaken debuff for one turn. This has a 3 times attack multiplier. Gets a lot of damage from books though, 25% damage from books. So it's a decent hitting A1. And it's a 50-50. Weaken is a good debuff to get, so it's okay. It's not too bad. She doesn't actually use this that often, though, funny enough. You'll see when we get to her A2. First, let's go to her A3, though. Crack Armor. 4-turn cooldown when it's booked up. Attacks all enemies 3 times. After the first hit, has a 50% chance. It goes up to a 75% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. So this is a very interesting move for a couple of reasons. So number one, this is a really weird effect that doesn't happen on very many heroes. Essentially, this has a 1.2 times attack multiplier on each hit. So it's giving you a total of a 3.6 attack multiplier on her AoE. For an epic, that's pretty solid. It's obviously lower than legendaries. You know, for legendaries, you're usually looking at a 4 times attack multiplier, or really preferably higher. So compared to legendaries, she's not going to hit as hard. It's just not going to happen. But for epic, she does hit pretty hard. And one nice thing is that because she puts the decreased defense after the first hit, right, the first 1.2 times multiplier worth of damage is going to be hitting them without decreased defense. But the second and the third 1.2 times attack multiplier hits will benefit from decreased defense. So it actually adds quite a bit to her damage, you know, compared to other decreased defense placing champions like War Maiden, for example. She's actually going to hit significantly harder because she does, at least 66% of this move does benefit from her own decreased defense, which is kind of funky. It's kind of different, and yeah, that's quite cool. In terms of being a pure debuffer, you can already see some of the issue, though. You can see where the power creep has come in. Only a 75% chance to place it, and it's on a 4-turn cooldown. That's definitely, you know, it doesn't really hold up to other epics. I mean, like, again, Ugo's a great example, that are bringing 100% chance on a 3-turn cooldown, right? Or Stag Knight or Duck the Pierced, right? We'll see Duck the Pierced in today's video as well. Doesn't quite hold up to those, but she does, we're going to see she sort of goes now, instead of being a pure debuffer, she really goes into that hybrid damage dealer role. And particularly this comes through, and this is the cool part of her kit for sure, Devastate. This has only a 2-turn cooldown when it is booked up, gets a lot of damage, again 25% damage from books, attacks one enemy, and instantly activates Crack Armor if the target is killed by this attack. This has a 5.3 attack multiplier, and with all those books, this is quite a hard-hitting move. This does smack, this does do damage, and she just instantly casts Crack Armor for free without messing with its cooldown or anything. She just casts it for free if she kills anyone. So if she does land that killing blow, she absolutely pops off and does tons of damage. It's really, really cool. And this is basically going to feed into how we're building her. Oh, I should also mention, she has an accuracy in all auras battle. And where I think she becomes strong, right, is that I think for early game accounts, I don't think she's actually that good. If you look at the number of books that she requires, she takes quite a lot of books, and you really do need to book her. Like, if you're sitting there with Devastate and a 4-turn cooldown without this damage, it's so much worse. You really need to book her up, and that is a pretty big investment for an early game account. That's not something you're really going to be able to do until the mid game, at least, I would say. And early game, you can get War Maiden. Now, I actually, when I started playing, the advice was to take War Maiden up to 60. I really disagree with that now. I don't think you do that at all. Because War Maiden, in terms of her base stats, are just terrible. They're really, really bad. I think what you want to do with her instead is just go, forget about the whole crit rate, crit damage thing, forget about her attack. Just crank her health up high, her accuracy up high, her speed up high, and have War Maiden be this guaranteed debuffer, right? 3-turn cooldown, 100% chance of decreased defense. Much more reliable than what Zargala can do. Just build her as a tanky, dedicated debuffer. With Zargala, we're going to do something different. Yeah, she will do debuffs. We'll give her enough accuracy to land this, but we're not going to crank it crazy high. But we are going to be building Zargala up to level 60, and we are going to build her with damage so that she can proc this Devastate skill and get her bonus crack armor out, and that's where she really starts rolling, right? It's a big investment, but when you see the areas of content where she's useful in, that's where it kind of redeems herself and makes her useful in the late game, which is what sort of justifies it, I think. If we look at her base stats again, I think War Maiden is a great comparison. She is basically War Maiden, but better in terms of her base stats. So she's got good attack. She's got very good base speed. 103 base speed's really solid. Makes her easy to go fast. 60% crit damage is good. Her health is fine. Her defense is really bad, though, so she's going to be squishy no matter what you do. You're going to struggle to keep her alive. And how I recommend building her, I'd definitely be focusing on perception sets, right? By the time you're building up a Zargala, most likely you're going to have access to some perception sets. They're really good to just get you to that accuracy and speed that you want her to get without too much stress. I actually have her way too fast. I've got a super quick banner. I've got a 3-roll in speed attack banner for orcs, and I don't have any other attack-based orcs that I built yet, so she still has it. So she's really, really fast, faster than she needs. But yeah, crank her health up a bit so she's not going to flop over in a single hit. Let her take a hit, but then you definitely want her attack, high if possible, 4,000 plus. You want her to have 100% crit rate. Give her some crit damage if you can. That's not a massive priority though. And then at least 200 accuracy, but really no more than that, because we're not going to be using this champion in endgame Doom Tower waves. We're not going to be using her in endgame arena. For that sort of stuff, you're really transitioning into legendaries, but we are going to use her in early game arena and dungeon progression, all that sort of stuff, faction wars, and 200 accuracy is really plenty for that. In terms of the actual gear I've got her on, I do have some speed sets, like looking to get attack, crit rate, speed is basically what we're going for, then some crit damage if we can. So crit rate gauntlets, attack percentage chest. Now, if you don't have a good one, a HP percentage chest is okay. Speed boots. And then I actually have her in a HP ring with attack percentage substats, crit damage necklace, and then an attack banner. But yeah, it's whatever gear you have to get her to decent stats for wherever your account is at is what you're looking for. But we do want her to smack. That is important. I think if you're building her without any damage, there's really no point in using this champion. Like, there's no point. There's War Maiden is better as a debuffer. She just is, right? In most circumstances. For her masteries, we're going to go down and get her War Master. I think it's going to be the best for the places you're going to use her. Helm Smasher is okay. But I think War Master overall just does more. Obviously going to get her bonus crit rate and stuff like that. And then we're going to come down the support tree, getting her the accuracy things to have her have more accuracy, just make it easier to hit those numbers. We do want to get her sniper, extra 5% chance to place debuffs, right? So better chance to place weaken on her A1, better chance to place decreased defense on her A3. And then we want to get her Master Hexer, a chance to extend those debuff durations. So yeah, let's go see her in action. So the first place I want to show her to you, and I think this is the reason that makes me still feel like she's worth building for sure, is actually, if we go back down here, blah, 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 it's actually Secret Room 3 of Doom Tower Rotation 2. Force attack champions only, okay? Force attack champions only. This is Secret Room 3. So this is a secret room you're going to be able to get to pretty early on, but it's pretty hard, right? There's not that many force attack champions in the game. I'm slightly in the way. If I remove myself, these are all the force attack champions I have. I only have 6 at 60, right? It's quite limited. And it's just, it feels bad, right? If you're early in the game, or early-ish in the game, you're still progressing through Doom Tower hard, but you're locked out of not being able to do the secret room. Zargala is going to be one of your go-to champions, right? War Maiden can come in here. Should be very good with the stun set. I've got Basilisk in a stun set as well, and then a couple of legendaries. Thea is going to be really good. But let's dive in, and I'll show you the best teams afterwards. We might not pass this one, by the way. we could easily fail. There's quite a lot of randomness built in here. Boom. Okay, so the first hit went in. We missed it, but that was Zargala. She did her decreased defense, and you can see it's not fully consistent, but it's pretty consistent. She got decreased defense on everyone. That's great. Brachus is going to do his Hunter's Howl, which is going to give us increased attack and put out some True Fears. He's not booked, unfortunately, so didn't land too many. Basilisk is going to do an AoE. He's in a stun set. He didn't land any fears, though. That's a bit of a bummer. Let's get her go in and smack by Stoffus. Okay. And then Thea is going to come in, and Thea does a lot of damage. Check out my Thea videos I did over the last couple of days. You might like them. So we can go in and we can do the Devastate smack here. Let's smack Huntsman. Okay, cool. What I'm trying to do is to hopefully proc the passive ability from Thea. If we hit someone hard enough, it will potentially put out some fears from Thea. No luck there. We're going to do decreased defense from War Maiden. We're in a lot of trouble, guys. We're in a lot of trouble because we didn't proc any stuns or fears. War Maiden, smack him. Okay, there's 4 True Fears. Good job. Maybe I should have held on to Devastate, actually. Like right there, I could possibly have held on to it. We would have got a crack armor off. I'm going to smack this guy in the hopes of getting a fear. We didn't get it. And this is where it gets nasty because he just stunned 2 of my champions. Whoop, she's smacking us. We're in trouble. Okay, let's definitely take down him. Bonk, you're dead. Ah, she got her move off. So we're going to die. But you can see how hard this room is. You can see how hard it is. We'll give it one more go for the video. Why not? Will we make it work? I don't know. So we'll do our crack armor. We will smack him. Shunk. He does an AoE stun attack. We don't want that to happen. War Maiden. Smack him. Maybe I should have smacked this guy. I don't think it matters, though, because I think Thea just kills them all. Thea just kills them all. We're all good. Okay, we'll save this move this time. We'll just smack Huntsman, who's got one of the AoE stunts. And then you can smack him to put weaken on him as well. It's probably smarter to split up the weakens, yeah? AoE stuns? Oh, no stuns. No stuns. The stun set letting us down. Thea. All right, smack him, Thea. Didn't fear him, unfortunately. But we can come in now. We can devastate. And look at this. Boom, devastate. Big hit. And she gets that crack, the crack armor off, which is awesome. He got a counterattack. But we didn't quite get the stuns or the fears. And Zargala's down. So, yeah, we're going to fail this secret room again. It's just a matter of rerunning this one until we get lucky, unfortunately. That's the way these rooms are. But, yeah, Zargala, she's going to come in here. She's going to do good damage. And provide you just that stuff. So like in terms of the teams, like I actually completed this. It took me 24 turns. We just need to get a little bit lucky with the random fears from Brachus and Thea and from the stuns from Basilisk, and we can get through. Again, putting stun set on War Maiden would help quite a bit as well for that second wave, for example. But yeah, it's not bad. And you can see in terms of the other players in my clan, some of them are using Zargala, not all of them. So the fastest guy actually does have Zargala. Zargala's in here. She's in some of these teams, but not all of them. If we look at the global rankings, again, you can see that, yeah, Zargala's actually in the fastest team in the world. She's in there. Alternatively, just simply have 3 Abesses, one of them being a +4, and you can do it. Zargala's in here too. She's showing up in these teams, right? She's showing up because she has that. In fact, nearly all of these teams have Zargala, nearly all of them, because she has that sort of, it's almost like a blitzkrieg, right? That the more damage you're doing and getting, the more kills you're getting, just being super aggressive, she really just sort of thrives off that and benefits off it and starts pumping out more and more damage. It's a pity we couldn't beat the room right there, but I don't want to just keep repeating it over and over again for the video. You guys get the idea and sort of censor what she can do. Let me show you my orc team, and you can see how she sort of compares to these other orcs, right? So this is my level 21 faction war team for orcs. This is what I use all the time. And we'll get to see Zargala in action. So there she goes in, does her decreased defense. We actually have Duck the Pierced in here, who is also doing decreased defense and decreased attack. But look, here goes Zargala. She went with a Devastate, finished someone off, and fired off another crack armor. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Seer comes in and does her stuff. We'll see. So Seer is like the best nuker in the game, pretty much. He's the easiest to build for any sort of late game PvE content. But we don't have a team here that can support her. Oh, the Devastate, not quite doing enough damage that time. So right there, she missed her chance, but it's okay. I think she's coming back around to crack armor next turn anyway. And Doug the Pierce is actually, because he has a shorter cooldown, he's lapped her a little bit. So she'll be firing crack armor into an already existing decreased defense and getting good damage. Yeah, so like I think this is where Zargala actually works really well, right? She's this one had unkillable on. That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. We weren't able to get the kill. But yeah, she's good as that hybrid. It's the hybrid that she's in for, right? And she does sort of both roles pretty well. She's not the absolute best nuker in the game, but she does actually really good damage. She's not the best debuffer in the game, but she does pretty consistent debuff. She sort of does both, which means that she combos well with both sort of sides of it, right? If you have another debuffer like Duck the Pierced, Zargala's gonna still sort of thrive off of that and do extra damage. If you have another, if you got another just pure damage dealer with no debuffs, that's okay. Zargala's gonna provide the decreased defense for them. She's gonna fairly consistently provide weakens for them as well. So yeah, she's sort of flexible like that. So yeah, we'll see. I want to show you her numbers at the end of this faction war run, so you can see how she's going to sort of compare to these other people. And I think one of the big reasons to build her as well in that mid game is going to be for progressing through Orc faction wars, right? She's really good, as you can see, and you will see, for these faction wars. This is also a DPS check boss. He swaps HP with an enemy, right? And you have 12 turns to kill him again. Otherwise, he swaps HP and you're kind of screwed. So this is a DPS check boss. The amount of damage she provides in the debuffs is really strong against this particular boss in 21. So she's good for faction wars. She's great for that secret room. So she has endgame usefulness. And then in the mid game, you know, you're going to be going in and, you know, your main nuker, your main damage dealer is probably going to be your starter champion, who's blue affinity. So for any of those red affinity dungeons, you can get really stuck. You can be kind of screwed. If you're going up against a lot of red affinity enemies in the arena, again, you can have yourself a really, really hard time. Is he going to get the swap off? No. Seer killed him. Nice one. Good job. That was a nice quick run. 236. Sometimes Seer doesn't quite get that kill. But you can see in my runs, Zargala is the top damage, right, for faction wars. She's smashing through. She's beating out Seer and Iron Brago and Duck. I think when I get Duck to 60, Duck might actually do more. But Zargala, she's smashing it. She's killing it, right? She's doing good. Yeah, she's going to be really good for some of those dungeons when you're going into your Force Affinity level dungeons. Zargala's going to be solid. She's going to be a good complement to your starter champion in that mid game. I will say, I don't think she's as good as Skullcrown or Genbo, right? In terms of epic nukers, the Void epic nukers are better than her for nuking purposes, for damage purposes, but they're harder to get as well. So yeah, I think Zargala, she's an interesting one. I'd probably give her overall like a B. I'd probably give her a B. Like, she's a solid champion. She's a good champion with some uses, but she has been kind of a bit power crept. And just simply because she does cost a lot of books, and there's a lot of other really great epics out there, it's sort of up to you whether or not you need her with the champions you've pulled. Like, are you lacking force damage dealers? Are you lacking in the decreased defense department or the weakened department? If so, then yeah, she can do a really good job for you. She can do the similar sort of thing in arena as well. But, you know, you might not need to build her straight away. You might want to put her off and build someone else. Like if you got Ugo or you got, you know, Skullcrown or Genbo, you might want to build them instead and come back to Zargala later on when you're doing that faction work progress, when you're doing your Doom Tower Secret Room 3, and that's where you might need her. So yeah, that's sort of my thoughts on her. What do you guys think about Zargala though? I think it was a pretty nice showcase. We got to see her, you know, do some nice damage there in faction wars. We got to see the strength of her. And I really do think it is a specific build that you're looking for. You want her to have enough accuracy, but then you're really building her for damage, and that's where she thrives and sets herself apart from War Maiden. And she also looks cool. She looks badass, and it's just really fun when she resets with that Devastate and starts popping off at crack armor. Like, that's really awesome. So yeah, thank you for watching. I will see you all next time. Bye bye.